These student loans are ruining a generation. Let's get into it.
Soon be harder for thousands of aspiring doctors to finance their education. A provision in President Trump's so-called Big Beautiful Bill will cap the amount of federal loans that students can borrow for grad school and professional programs like medical, dental, or law school. And that could have rippling effects on prospective doctors.
Federal loans are what keep me alive while I'm in school because I can't have a job when I'm in school. Scary thing to think about.
On average, medical students graduate with more than $264,000 in debt, and the cost of medical school can be more than $300,000 for some programs. But under the new policy, those students will be limited to loans of $50,000 a year with a total limit of $200,000. Medical schools have warned that these changes could discourage some students from going into medicine, and the U.S. is already dealing with a growing physician shortage. While private loans will still be an option for some students, those can come with less flexible repayment options or require the borrower to have a cosigner.
For programs like medical school, it's really important that we have student loans for medical trainees who don't come from wealthy backgrounds where their parents can pay for it.
Still, proponents of the provision say that the previous lack of limits has allowed colleges and universities to raise tuition unchecked because students could borrow essentially an unlimited amount of money, leaving some in crippling debt.
Okay, so I'm irritated. And I'm irritated because all of us who have student loans, I want y'all to understand we are about to have $1,300 payments. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not trying to instill fear in anybody. That is a real number. And it is all because y'all couldn't vote for the lady who was our vice president. And before y'all try to say, oh, you don't want to pay them back, oh, you shouldn't have gotten loans, let's stop. Let's stop and think about the people who are your lawyers and doctors and educators and crafts people and all those folks who have to take out loans to be educated to help you, the same folks who didn't want to vote for the lady. So yes, as one of those people who had to be educated, who had to take out loans to get my law degree, yes, I'm irritated that these payments are going to be as high as they are going to be because y'all didn't want to vote for her. Always intended on paying it back, just not like this.
Did anyone else hear that the SAVE plan on student loans is going to start accruing interest? The way that I have been freaking out the entire day about this, the amount of student loans that I have is disgusting. And I get it, I took out the loans, I went to school, I'm gonna pay it back. But I mean, all I wanna do is help kids feel better. It's not my fault school's so expensive, and student loans have like a 7% interest rate on federal loans. Listen, I saw that Dr. Daisy Sanchez paid for her student loans from TikTok, so prepare to be sick of me.
Hey, I just wanna show y'all something. This is what I owe for student loans, okay? $101,406.66. Appropriate. Okay, and then the total amount awarded, this is how much they actually gave me for 4 years. Actually, it took 6 because I switched majors. Don't hate on me. All of my college education, that is the amount of money that they gave me to spend on it. And I did. I graduated. And I had to spend some of my own money too, and I got a Pell Grant, but that's what they gave me to help out. This is what they want back. This is what they want back. Now this, it says, see, it's kind of misleading. This says interest. It's like, well, that's not that bad, right? I mean, it's 20%, but it's not that bad. But, and then principal is $82,000. How is that? Because they only gave me $46,000. Well, if you click this little question mark right here, this says the loan amount you took out plus any capitalized interest and less any payments that were applied to the principal. So I had to look that up. I was like, what is the difference between capitalized interest and accrued interest? And basically this is it. Accrued interest happens every month. Student loans are compounded monthly, kind of like mortgages or credit cards. Except for unlike mortgages, it's not for the house that we live in and we have no asset, other than a piece of paper that gives us maybe higher earning potential. And unlike a credit card, it's not usually used for extraneous or frivolous purchases that you really can't afford. It's an education, which is an investment in yourself and in the future of America. Anyway, so it's compounded like frivolous purchases in the homes we live in. So if you don't pay the entirety of your monthly interest, which depending on your loans can be more than an affordable monthly payment, that just gets added to the principal. And it basically snowballs. So they gave me $46,000, and so far they want $101,000 back. For that, can't do that. Like, I am almost 40 years old. I could pay on that for the rest of my life and never pay it off. And that's the con. That's the goal. They never wanted people to pay off their student loans. They wanted a constant supply of passive income for the government. They basically wanted an albatross around the neck of every college kid whose parents couldn't afford to foot their bill. And that's exactly what they have. So when people say, pay it back, like, sure, I would love to. Please let me have a job that will at least pay that much, and I will be happy to return the original amount, as was the deal I was promised by every adult in my life when I was 18 with a not formed prefrontal cortex. My brain was not all the way mature. And everybody else is around me who was saying, go to college. It doesn't matter. Just do what you have to do to get a degree. And I did. And now everybody's like, pay it back. With what? Like, they're firing people all the time. There's layoffs. They decide, like, downsize the government. So no government jobs. The private sector is cutting back. And what are we supposed to do? Just like quietly starve to death? I mean, probably. That's probably what they would like for us to do.
I mean, she's got a point. Like, when you're 18, you're not thinking about the debt you're signing up for. Maybe more now, because there's so much knowledge, like these TikToks that people can go to and see, and there's just way more knowledge online. But she said she was 40, so let's just say she was 18, what, 2000, give or take. My math's terrible, but in the year 2000, her parents probably didn't get to go to college, so they couldn't give her advice. Their advice was like, yeah, go to college. You're gonna make money. You're gonna, especially that's what the people were telling her. You're gonna make money. And at 18, you don't see that. I know I didn't when I was 18. I didn't know. I didn't go to college. Thankfully, I wasn't really book smart. I hated school, so I wasn't gonna go to college. But I could only imagine if I was book smart and I wanted to be something, like, probably would have went to school for something stupid like she probably did, just working an office job, making, $25 an hour with $100,000 overhead. Now me looking back, if I ever had to go to school, it would be something in the trades, HVAC, you know, electrician, and I would just build relationships with these people. When I go work at a random dude's house, when I'm working for somebody, hey, I'm trying to get it started on my own. Here's a business card. I have my LLC already. I'd have maybe not business insurance until I started getting, some, until I got somebody. Maybe I'd have business insurance. And then I would just start doing that, y'all, on the side, right? Now you'll get fired from your job, but that's how I would do it. If I had to do it, I would be, telling these people, building a relationship with them, BSing with them. Like, hey, I do this, I got my LLC, I got my business I'm trying to get started. You ever need some HVAC? Here's my card, any family members, whatever. And guess what? You already did business with them. They liked what you did. They liked how you were. They're going to refer you because their sister, their cousin is going to say, hey, who worked on your AC when it went out last week? Oh, this guy, here's his card. There you go. You know what I mean? And there's potential's endless with that.
Who thinks $7,000 is a reasonable monthly payment amount for student loans? I was completely shocked. I'm a pharmacist. I have student loans. You've probably seen the saga on my TikTok about this. With all of the recent legislation, I just went through StudentGov's website and did some loan simulation. Thank God for income-based repayment, but I just wanted to show how unreasonable it is to have standard repayment only. So in the new proposed bill, there's going to be two forms of repayment: standard repayment and the RAP, repayment assistance plan. If you're already in repayment, then the plan that you're in, you can stay in. So it'll only affect new borrowers, or I believe after July of 2028. But I just wanted to see what potentially my options would be. And I just can't even believe this, over $7,000. So again, I'm a pharmacist. I graduated in 2016. I've been paying monthly on my student loans when I can. I have been in SAVE, so I have been in forced forbearance. But how are people affording this?
Does anyone else who is on the Biden administration SAVE student loan plan actually not know what to do right now? Because I don't. Interest is coming back. Like, I'm in deep panic. I want to hear from other student loan borrowers who were on Save if they're also in deep panic. What the fuck? Also, I heard this information from TikTok that interest is coming back and they're forcing us into other plans, not from my student loan service provider. No, because this is gonna send me into debt for life. I don't.
Y'all,
Like, there's a reason why those colleges go to your high school when you're 18. There's a reason why you're 18 to join the military. I mean, at 30 years old, you're knowledgeable. It's developed. You want to war for that nonsense? 18, you're gung ho, like, let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready to go shoot some guns and blow some things up. You're not even thinking about why we're going to war, right? But it's just I think these colleges are a scam. Like, it's a little ridiculous. It's a little ridiculous. And you notice in this video how she was talking about the Biden administration. An earlier clip, you notice, you know, she was talking about, that's what you get for voting Trump in and not Kamala. At the end of the day, these politicians, they're just going to tell you what you want to hear. They're going to tell you what you want to hear. When it's election time, guess what? We're going to forgive your loan. We're going to get rid of these student loans. We're going to forgive you. We're going to forgive you, but yet we're going to keep on doing student loans. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make sense. If you're going to forgive everyone's student loan like these politicians say, which they don't do, some got it, then why are you still giving out student loans? Politicians ain't going to save you. It's something you got to think about. Hopefully, parents are wise now when their kids want to go to college. They're more wise and can give them knowledge. But I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I see a lot of parents out there. Are they knowledgeable? I don't know. They're
crazy
all
to me, and that
partying.
I just can't stop thinking about how much student loans are going to affect my life. I worked super hard by working 2 jobs and getting scholarships to come out of my undergrad with only $5,000 in debt. However, you can't really do too much with the degree that I had, and you need to go back for further education. So I went back for my master's. Now I'm $30,000 more in debt. And that's with the workplace discount, scholarships, and with getting partial tuition reimbursement from my place of employment, with also paying a small amount each quarter out of pocket. And then your student loans switching from company to company, and you get on and you find out that one of your loans has 8% interest, which I know going to college was my choice, and now I am in debt because of it. But I just think it's crazy that I had scholarships and was working and paying out of pocket and getting some tuition reimbursement, and it still put me that much in debt. I'm a first generation college student, and I just feel like I lacked a lot of education in that area and on student loans in general. And now I'm looking at them thinking, oh my gosh, this is insane. And I know people that are in a lot more debt than I am, so I can't even imagine how they feel.
Like, she said it. I didn't have the knowledge. She's a first generation. Most of these, well, not these young kids, but most of the millennials, right? She might have been 2021. Like, her parents might have went to college, so they should have had the knowledge. But most of the millennials, my parents are in their 60s. Like, they didn't go to school. College really wasn't a thing back then. Not like it is now. My dad didn't have no debt. He still has no debt. You know what I mean? Um, he's cars are paid off. He just doesn't have debt, right? Now, like, these kids are having debt. Hopefully the knowledge is getting there. Like, these people, their kids, it's a shame if they go into crazy student loan, especially for a job that's not going to be paying well. If you're going to go and get a lot of debt for men, I would say do something in the trades, to me, because that's the one thing. You can start your own business, you can just move up. But women, I mean, you can go into trades too. Shoot, if you're a woman, electrician, go out there and do your thing. I'm just fascinated with tools, y'all. I love tools. I love seeing, electrician's tool bag on YouTube, like breaking down what they got. When people come and work on my house, electricians or HVACs, like I'm right there asking them questions about their tools and whatnot. Like, hey, how do you like that DeWalt? I'm thinking about getting it and break it down. Like, I love it. I had the Milwaukee, this is mine, or vice versa, right? So I just love tools. So that's where I would go. But like these kids nowadays are going to college for things that there's no money in it. You're going to get out of college and you're going to end up doing something that doesn't need a degree. Your degree is worthless.
I borrowed just under $200,000 for my education, so that included undergrad and law school. But it was $198,876.01 if we're being exact.
Oh, they
and
want that
currently,
penny.
I've paid that exact same amount back.
But
$198,876.01. I
the
really wish that
interest,
meant that I was just done paying off my student
there's
loans, but
interest.
unfortunately, not all that money's gone straight towards principal. It's also had to cover interest that's been accrued.
How much you get?
So about 2/3 has gone towards principal, and the other third has paid back interest. So to date, it is $66,498.55
So
in
she still
interest.
got 30-some
And
thousand.
something interesting, just because the amount that I've paid back is the exact same as the amount that I originally borrowed. Currently, my payoff amount is the exact same as the accrued interest. So that same $66,498.55. What's really crazy is that $27,000 of that interest accrued just while I was still in school. And the majority of that really while I was in law school. When I was in undergrad, I borrowed $20,000 in student loans, and that accrued about $2,500 in interest while I was still in undergrad. So I actually paid all of that off during college while I was serving in bartending. And then when I went straight through to law school, I borrowed an additional about $180,000. So those new loans combined with my $20,000 of student debt from undergrad accrued $24,417.54 in the 3 years that I was in law school, and then the 6-month grace period before I had to start paying back the loans. And mind you, these were government student loans with fixed interest rates between 3.8 and 7.6% interest. They weren't variable. It wasn't double-digit interest rates. Now, it took me about another year after that 6-month grace period to actually be able to start paying the loans back, just while I was passing the bar, moving states, getting a job, all that stuff. And during that time, I accrued another $9,340.30 in interest. So by the time I actually started paying them back, 8 years after I took out the first loan, they had accrued $36,294.83 in interest. Because of the interest that I paid off in undergrad, it made a small dent. But when I actually started paying them back, I owed $231,179.28. I've been repaying the loans for 4 years and 9 months now. And during that time is where the additional $30,000 in interest has come in. But I'm now accruing less than $250 a month in interest. And when I first started, I was accruing about $1,300 a month in interest. So I've come a long way. So my student loan balance is down from $231,179.28 down to $66,498.55. And my goal is to get them completely paid off within the next about 14 months. So follow along.
Good for her, right? In 7 years, 198,000. Good for her. Now, they should have no interest. Student loans should be interest free. They really should. I mean, who's this interest going to? It's not going to the teachers. It's not going to the professors. It's not going to the betterment of the world. Who's this interest going to? It's already screwing me over at $231,000 balance to just go to school. But you're going to tack on interest to that? Who's getting the interest? Who's getting the 231? It's a scam, y'all. It's a scam.
How is anybody affording their student loan payments? My credit score dropped 100 points this week.
Damn.
I checked my credit score. I refreshed the big Experian thing, and it literally dropped 100 points. My credit's now poor, and I can't afford to make student loan payments in my current budget, in my current salary, which includes no savings, no health insurance, like nothing. You know what I mean? Every week that I get paid, 90% of it gets transferred into my savings to account for bills. And I'm $400 past due on my student loans. There's $5,000 and some change left on my student loans, and I've paid. The original balance was like $8,000, and I've paid over $12,000 already since 2016, and then through COVID. Like, I only make $55,000 a year, and it barely pays for my life. Like, I'm late on so many bills, and then I'm paying late fees on those bills, and then sometimes I'm paying like right now the electric bill is like $265. They'll cut that shit off. So it's like you have to pay that one, even if it's like right on the cutoff date of them cutting it off with the late fees rather than the student loan payment. Or sometimes the grocery budget, or sometimes like, fuck, dude, it's like rent, car payment, and utilities. It's rent, car payment, utilities, like and car insurance. I don't even go do anything fun. I don't go on vacation. I'm supposed to go to Europe in October. I'm gonna have to ask to borrow money from my mom. I'm 32, or I will be 32 this year. I just don't understand like how anyone else is doing it. I don't understand how people who make less than me are doing it. I don't know, bro. I'm just
Like, okay. You should ask your parents for help to get that student loan off. Not to go on a vacation to Europe. You know, like I was feeling sorry for her for a second until she said she made 50 something thousand. Like, you should live off rice and beans for a little bit just to get that student loan banged out, right? 5,000 is not that much that you got left. I think it was what, 8,000 and she's paid 12 or something like that. 6,000 and she's paid 12. Ridiculous, right? That's what I was saying about interest. It's ridiculous, but you can't cry and say you're still going to Europe. I'm sorry. Get out of your rent. Go stay with your parents. 6 months, you'll stack up some money with no rent. That's at least what, 1,600. Being honest, being modest. 1,800 with utilities. Because she said her electric was 200 for an apartment. That's crazy. I'm guessing she's in an apartment, maybe a house she's renting. I don't know. My electricity is not even 200. I'm in a 2-story. The highest we've had is like 150 in the summer. Get out of that rent. Stay with your parents. Then maybe you can go on that vacation. You can do a little bit of more fun stuff. Get on your feet. Get some debt paid off. And you're making a good income, 50 something thousand. That's pretty good. You can go back to renting after you get all that debt paid off.